Yes, people. Welcome back to Where Do Y'all Sleep. This is Badge versus Badge. It's myself, Mitch, as always, and Sync. Pleasure to have you, sir. How's it going?
Good evening, mate. Not going too bad. Can't complain. Had a weekend off. Unfortunately, my grassroots under 16 girls team game got cancelled, rained off. But that meant I got to sit in and watch a bit of footy throughout the day.
Nice. Well, not nice because I'm sure you would have preferred to have been coaching through the day
Oh yeah,
rather
definitely.
than sat at home watching the games. To be fair, but there's a lot of that going on at the minute, isn't there? Because I'm sure I saw someone say earlier that it's rained every single day this year.
Pretty much. Pretty
Yeah, so
much.
grassroots getting called off is nothing out of the ordinary,
No,
unfortunately, right
no. And
now.
if you're lucky to get your games going, like, well done to you. But
Yeah,
everyone else
yeah.
is struggling.
All the groundsmen over the country, if you're getting games on right now, you're doing
Yeah.
very
They,
well. I
they
can't
are
really.
they are the absolute heroes if they're getting games on, mate.
Yeah, 100%. But let's go into it. Another interesting day of football across the board. Premier League, we have, I think it was 5 games today. It
Is it
was
five?
nearly a, yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was
five
five, wasn't there? You
games.
had Villa Leeds, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Burnley. You could say it was the 3 o'clocks was just a day full of updates, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
updates, upsets for the 3 o'clock
yeah,
games.
yeah, really. Well, a couple of unexpected results. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy one. It looks like it's kind of looking at the table. Looks like it's getting to the point where the top two are opening up a gap where you're just looking at them, and then the next batch behind
Yeah,
are
they're
all
making.
fighting out for
Yeah,
third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Really.
yeah, it's looking pretty much like set in stone. You know where everyone's gonna kind of finish in terms of who's going for third to fifth. You know who's going for it. Can Liverpool make a late charge and steal a spot? Don't think Villa or Chelsea, or I don't think Villa can catch City or Arsenal. I think their squad just doesn't have the legs to keep up
Yeah,
with what they're doing. And as for City, they're just putting the pressure on Arsenal, aren't they?
yeah. They're week to week they're ramping it up. Level
Yeah,
games at the minute. I know Arsenal still got the North London derby tomorrow. Level games right now, 2 points.
yeah,
And considering 2, 3 weeks ago, you could have, or not even that, probably 2, 3 games ago, Arsenal had the opportunity to go 9 points clear level on games.
yeah,
And now we're looking at two. And this is
yeah,
a City that, if you look at the stats, the historical stats over the last 12 games of the season or 11 games of the season, they're 6, 7 points better off than anybody else
yeah,
consistently. So,
yeah. This is their time, So you got to make sure that the pressure's on Arsenal. Like they've got
yeah,
to perform, and you know what? And the thing is when you're not performing, you've then not got to concede, and that's what they're doing at the moment. They are conceding, and even to teams that you don't expect them to concede to, in situations where you're looking at, ugh, they're not
yeah,
necessarily like completely naive like they was in the past. It's just now, it's just those little fine details that are now catching them out because they're not taking the game to the other teams that they're playing
mm,
against. I think they're relying too much on their defense, and their defense should just be like a fail safe because they should have that ball in the final third for the majority of the game, especially when it comes to like the last 15 minutes of a game. The game management just has to be better.
yeah. The way I sort of saw Arsenal, we'll talk about that because it was Arsenal Wolves, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Arsenal were 2-0
indeed.
up with half an hour to go against bottom of the league. And for me, champions elect have to win from that point. And it looked like the last goal to me looked like panic had set in. Like
Mm,
you never see Arsenal defend like that. The goalie and Gabriel going for the same ball, dropping
exactly.
on the edge of the box. They're scrambling around trying to get blocks in. There was nothing confident about it. And for me, it was just like these guys are actually rattled now.
Yeah.
And City today, they didn't impress me in the way that this that City used to. City used to
No.
just control games, dictate. Never had any real feel of them losing. But today, it felt like they ground out a result, and that's
Yeah.
the thing we haven't really seen City do for a very long time. And it
Not
feels
for
like they're
yeah.
actually capable of grinding their way to victory now.
Yeah, what was really telling today, and I think it may be the introduction of having Gehi and Semenya in the team, but the second half they're normally doesn't they've throughout the season have been a team of two halves. First half they'll get lots of opportunities, might even get the lead, but they'll play better in the first half, and then the second half they've been found wanting a few times. But today they were able to withstand Newcastle's attack, and Newcastle was quite direct. And maybe it was because Alango is a bit out of form and he wasn't able to exploit some of the opportunities that he had in his 1v1 situations. But I just felt like they didn't look like they was gonna concede in the second half. City, they didn't look too much under pressure. Though obviously they was under the pressure a few times, but wasn't like goal mouth scrambles or anything like that. Complete pressure.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say we were the better side second half, but I feel that the trip to Baku played a lot into us not really getting things right. Them finer details that you need to get right at the Etihad to win games, we didn't quite get it. It was either the wrong pass, it was over here. We're not going out for throwing when we're trying to play people through, trying to take a man on, not quite having that extra half a yard. Them sort of things is what we were seeing in the final third in the second half. But I was actually quite, I'm not going to say happy. Happy with the performance, never happy with the result because it was
of
defeat.
course.
But from Brentford, the Brentford game, which was like the last time we did this, I didn't really know where we were going. Our season was going from that point. I couldn't see how we turn it around. Not losing at home to Brentford and then facing 4 away games back to back, 3 of them being Tottenham away, Villa away, and Man City away. I was like, boy, these next 4 games could be the end of our season. And we've come out the back of it, and it's not. So I'm happy about that, to be honest, more than anything else.
Yeah, you have to really. I mean, when you look at the league is very it's a mixed bag because everyone's a tough game really. Even because and what I mean, like with Wolves, obviously you expect the win. So the problem is with that game is that the pressure's on yourself. So if you don't get a good performance and you're missing chances or you're just not clicking, that game becomes an issue. And then everyone else are an actual problem. And it's just, especially for the teams at the bottom, it's just if they can get any sort of consistency within their sort of run of games that they've got. But where you guys are, I mean, like you said, you're not out of it, but it's like where do you find the games where you're going to get a consistent run of points from? Where you can see that, yeah, realistically, it is tough at the moment in this league, and the only teams that are really sort of in form are like what maybe United. Who else are really in form?
You'd say West Ham as well, to be fair. I think they've got
Yeah,
like,
no, yeah,
yeah,
West Ham. That's what I mean down there. Like they've managed to get some sort of consistent run. So even today with Bournemouth, that's a tough game, but they've managed to get the draw out of that. So it's hard for teams to just navigate a clear passage of consistent points that you're going to gather. I just struggle to see how you can um, sort of telegraph where anyone's going to finish in this league. Like you said, you managed to get out of that last run of games. You're not out of it, but it still looks like a tough way to get to fifth or fourth.
yeah, that's the thing now that I was very confident that we'd finish in the top 4 or 5 this season. And looking at it now, we're 9 points off of Chelsea and Man United. And it's where you make up them 9 points. There's only 11 games left.
Yeah.
Big ask at the top of the table. Big ask. So look at our run of games, and it's not that bad because we've got Everton at home, Man United at home, and I think we've got Chelsea away and Sunderland at home are our next 4 in the league.
Yeah.
Which are all winnable games. So
oh yeah, no, and that's the thing. You have to look at it like that. They are winnable games, but at the same time, Man United right now they're on form. Everton, they're a bit of a mixed bag.
yeah,
You never know what Everton you're going to get, and Chelsea as well. If they can, if the thing is what I find with Chelsea, if they get a good start into a game, then you're kind of like, ugh, it's a battle. But if you then get a good start in a game, you can kind of think you can sort of not necessarily say the game's dead and buried, but you can sort of kind of plan ahead with that second half. You can Chelsea, I mean, they're a bit of a mixed bag as well. Like even today.
Yeah, today surprised me because I looked on and they were 1-0 up after 4 minutes, and I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
that.
and the thing
They're
is,
gonna run away with it for me, and they just didn't.
they just didn't. And then in the second half, Fafana gets a red card for a challenge he doesn't really need to make, to be honest. But you think in the heat of the moment and where the game is, you're thinking, why are you even making that challenge there? It's in no real danger. If it's like last man in on goal, you think maybe you might have to, but it just was so unnecessary. And then in it's moments like that, and that's what it is with Chelsea, is that lack of experience just to have someone out there and just telling them, look, think about what you're doing. You're on a yellow card. You know what I mean? Get into a good covering position, protect the space more than anything. You don't have
Yeah,
to dive in, like you got bodies around you. We'll if you just go and initiate his first movement, we'll cover him behind once he gets past you. Like, but there's no sort of doesn't seem to be that sort of leadership to have that kind of communication on the pitch to just tell certain players think about what you're doing when you're on a
yeah,
yellow because they've given away a
yeah.
lot of red.
Yeah, do you think that could also come from? Because I haven't seen when he got his first yellow. Do you think that could also come from the sidelines though? Because what I thought Guardiola did really well today is he protected a few of his players on yellow cards. Like Diaz got booked in the first half, and he brought him off at half time
Mm,
because he knew if Gordon gets another run at him, Diaz hasn't got that pull him down anymore. He's going to have to just let him run in on goal. Do you think
yeah,
that falls into it a little bit with Chelsea because their manager's young as well and inexperienced?
yeah. I think it plays a part that he won. Is it, the thing is though he's played, so you know he would be that type of player to have in his mind. You know what? I've been booked. I'm gonna be careful.
Yeah,
Whereas you know, I think you got to, like I said, you got to know your players, and do you have those type of players that you can trust on the yellow? Obviously not, because
yeah,
it's been happening throughout the course of the season, even before he got there. So it's not a him situation before he got there. This has been a situation. So
yeah, yeah,
again, you know, what I mean, him being inexperienced, maybe not managing that, definitely. But at the same time, you got to look at players have got to look at themselves and you know be responsible, hold yourself accountable on the pitch. You're looking out for the team, trying to get 3 points, trying to secure full spot, maybe even make a late charge, but you just can't. You're just so consistently inconsistent with Chelsea.
yeah. No, that's a fair point. So we'll start. Have a little chat about the title.
Yeah,
Where do you think it goes from here? Because I've always been in the City camp, even when it looked like Arsenal were stringing things together and having that decent little gap at the top.
yeah.
Where are you sat with it?
The thing is, from the beginning of the season, because Rodri wasn't in this team, that for me, I feel that Rodri is such an important player, especially losing De Bruyne as well. Um, I feel like Rodri is so important to City. So not having him in the beginning of the season and the run that Arsenal's got onto, I was very firmly thinking Arsenal was gonna win the title, and eventually it would probably get to. I was expecting maybe about April time, and then City would claw it back to maybe 2 points. But by then, you know, what I mean, the games that Arsenal have got, you'd think that don't hold out. But because it's here so early, it could be a problem. And because obviously both teams are still in the Champions League, you're thinking, can the Champions League be a distraction to Arsenal in this high pressure situation where either way they've got to win the Champions League or they've got to win the league in terms of for Arteta to secure his job, and obviously for the team themselves to, you know, I mean, was it 20 how many years since they've won the league title? So even for themselves, they want to win it. So it's going to be high pressure. I just don't know if they can withstand what City have done time and again. Do you know what I mean? Can they withstand it?
Hmm.
I don't. I want to say yes, but I really don't think they can, just because of what's happened in the past and what's happening now. And they've got their players, they've got their squad there, and for the most part, is Arteta using the full squad in these situations, and are they making the most out of their squad in terms of on the pitch performances?
Yeah. So do you think he goes if he doesn't win a Premier or Champions League then? Because you kind of said that midway through that, didn't you? Do think
Yeah,
they get rid of him?
I think they would have to.
Okay.
I think they would have to. I mean, again, you might have to look at the situation how I mean, it gets there. If he got to the final and it was a hard fought final, but it's unfortunate, maybe they might think, no, you know what, one more season. But yeah, I can't see the. I think it would be too toxic with the fans if that didn't happen. I think it
No.
would split it, and I feel like he got Arsenal to a point where everyone is on board, but the cracks over the last couple of seasons have started to show where people are like, we need to get Arteta out. He's the nearly man. He's not the man.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Can't really argue with that. Like, because I was looking at it the other day, and I think both teams. I think City have got 5 games. I think both teams have got 5 games between now and
Mm,
when they play each other at the Etihad in the league. And looking at the
okay.
fixtures, Arsenal have got Tottenham tomorrow,
Mm,
Chelsea at the Emirates. I think they're away to Brighton, and then I'm sure they've got someone like Everton and maybe Bournemouth before they play City.
yeah.
Whereas City, I'm sure they play 4 of the bottom 5. I think it's like Leeds,
Yeah.
Forest, West Ham,
Yeah.
maybe Palace with a Chelsea thrown in before they play Arsenal. So it's a massive. I think it's nearly 2 months before that game. It's only 5 league games. That's massive for Arsenal. Arsenal need to now win some pretty big games
Yeah.
to
All
make
of
sure
them
that they don't go to the Etihad and they're
needing.
either level or behind.
Yeah, they need to go to the Etihad and be able to lose and still be ahead.
And I don't think they're going to have that now.
No,
Because
not
they're
with two.
level on points. They're level on games now, and it's 2 points, which means they
Yeah,
need to better City's results up to that point. And apart from, I think it's Chelsea that City have got. Apart from that, you would look at all the City games and go, you'd expect them to go on a bit of a run through those.
yeah,
You've also
yeah.
got to take into account that the League Cup final is sandwiched in between all of that, where they play each other as well.
Obviously.
So as much as it's not a league game, I think that's going to be a big
Oh yeah, no,
psychological
it's
twist
gonna
as
add
well.
to it though. It's gonna add to
Yeah.
it definitely.
So it's
So,
going to be interesting to see how that goes. To be fair, I feel City got on a bit of a charge now.
oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Mm,
I feel like Pep understands his squad much better. He's got the required replacements that he needs. He probably needed a little bit more, but he's got the ones that he needs right now for the squad and for what they're going to be facing till the end of the season.
yeah.
Um, uh, do you think City are going to focus on Champions League, or is it's going to be each game as it comes?
I think it would just be each game as it comes. I think he's gonna. I think Eddie Howe's learned a lot from Guardiola in that respect, where he doesn't really focus on any competition. It's just like the next game. How do we win
Mm,
the next game with the players that I can start in this game? And I think that's just what Pep's going to do. And Pep's got the luxury of, apart from in the back line, he's got the luxury of having decent rotation sort of everywhere, really. If you look at their front line, especially, it's a joke. Like Doku's
yeah,
coming back,
yeah.
Marmoush, Haaland, Foden, Semenyo.
Mm,
Like Nico O'Reilly got 2 goals today. He looked class in the first half. Wasn't as good second half, but he looked a
yeah.
really good player second half. And now that he's playing in his natural position, like it's a little bit scary.
This is the thing, they're finding their groove, and when City get into that mode, it is pretty devastating for the rest of the league,
Yeah,
as it's been throughout the history. Um, and the thing is for City as well is, do you know what I mean? There's no pressure on them. There's no pressure from the board that Pep has to win this. See, if he doesn't win, they're not going to say his job's on the line. Do you know what I mean? For the players, they understand it's a transition, and even for themselves, they're of that professional level where they're going to want to win anyway. They don't need any sort of extra motivation. You know what I mean? The fact that they're at City, they know what's expected of them, but at the same time, that pressure is coming from themselves. There's no other external pressure for the Man City squad to be like, yeah. Whereas Arsenal, the pressure is coming from the fans. It's going to be coming from the board. It's going to be coming from the coaching staff. Everywhere, on the news, everything's just going to be pressure, even from their own families, indirectly, because they're going to be wanting them to get the success. There's
yeah,
even going to be pressure there. So you know what I mean. It's how do Arsenal deal with this? And I feel
yeah.
like this is the real test. Everything that's happened before is for now. This running, can you deal with it?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people have said about Arsenal the way they started the season that they're ready made to do it. But I think people underestimate the difference in winning games in September to winning them in
Yeah,
February, March,
mm.
April, May.
It's a different kind of pressure.
Yeah. It's the same game, but there's just a different feeling to it. You know,
Mm.
you can see the finish line, and it's do you like when it like in the sprinting terminology, you see the finish line. Do you tense up or do you keep
Yeah, you
smooth,
got to stay relaxed.
relaxed, keep your form,
Yeah.
and just run through the line instead of just trying to get there as quick as possible? It's mad.
Mm. And I feel like Arsenal are, or Arteta is in that moment right now because he knows Saka isn't performing in his position. He's identified that he's too far away from the goal. So he's trying to make it a bit easier for him to start getting his goal returns up,
Yeah.
putting Madueke in Saka's position and letting him just go at the fullback and then trying to let Saka find these half spaces. Is this going to be effective in terms of turning this Arsenal attack around? We don't know. Time will tell. I feel like they are searching and they need to find that spark. And I do hope because I like Saka. You got to like Saka. He's not a unlikable character. I hope he can sort of find that form again and get back to being in that conversation of why he is a world class player. But time will tell.
Do you think he's fallen a little bit into that bracket of too much too soon? And that doesn't mean that he got too good too soon. He's just played so much football for his age that
Yeah,
he
I
needs a
think
little bit more rest. He's not looking the same. He's looking a bit
yeah, I
leggy.
think I think that's definitely the case. Fatigue can play into your performance, but also it's managers like every manager's going to have the whole week to prepare. And the main person that they're going to prepare for is Saka, or one of the main people they're going to be prepared for is Saka. So they're going to have a job for him. So, and the thing is, he still creates chances. It's just there's no conversion. If he wasn't creating chances, then I would say it's too much too soon. But he's still creating chances. It's just not the conversion that was happening in the previous seasons. Um, you know, it's down to the manager to find an adaptation, find a new way to get those numbers back up. I believe because at the end of the day, he's still quality. Nothing. He ain't dropped. He ain't. Is he still running as hard as what he was before? I would say from just my eye watching, I would say yeah. I would say he's still putting in the effort, but is the creativity there? Maybe not. Maybe he's a little bit more worried about defensive responsibilities and not fully just expressing himself attacking wise. So it's down to Arteta to find a way to get him back into games, and so teams can't be so predictable. So he can't be so predictable against teams. What new ways can you find to get Saka in and around the goals again? So time will tell. Again, I feel like with Odegaard and Eze, I don't think their situation has helped as well. I think everybody has had some sort of, I don't know what it is to be honest, but everyone seems to be struggling attacking wise for Arsenal. But it seems like the spotlight's on Saka, but
Yeah.
the whole of the attack is faltering.
Yeah, no, I'd have to sort of fully agree with all of that, to be honest. But rolling into it, tomorrow, North London derby,
Yeah.
Tottenham new manager bounce, Arsenal stuttering ever so slightly in the league. How do you feel it goes?
Do you know what? It's set up to be one of the most exciting games of the season now. Really, if you say that Tottenham, where they've been absolute poor the whole season, it's only been any sort of quality performance in the Champions League. Arsenal with their faltering attack, and even now the defense isn't as assured as what it has been. It's set up to be some sort of great spectacle, but you know it's the North London derby. Are they gonna? Is it gonna be a cagey affair, or are they gonna be, all blood and guts and thunder? Who knows? Who knows? Time will tell. But one thing for sure is that Arsenal have to. They've got to take this game. because all season it's been a problem of being too cagey. I think they've got to take the game to Tottenham, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, 100%. And then Tottenham have got the sort of surprise factor a little bit,
Yeah, you don't know.
where
You don't know
yeah,
what they're gonna give. You
yeah,
don't know
100%.
how much sort of time they've had with their manager. You don't know what they've picked up. Is it going to be a replica of what Michael Carrick's done at Man United, or is it going to be the same of what's been happening for the last last 2 seasons or season and a half?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm really, this is like really intrigued by this game because I don't really know anything about this Igor Tudor. Like we say, we've been Arsenal sort of stuttering. They're try and get Saka back into his form. And are we finally going to see Tottenham actually start performing how you should say the players should be, really? Because I feel they're in a little bit of a misposition when you look at some of their squad and some of the players they've got.
Um, yeah, Tottenham are a problem for me. Even like decisions like selling, what's his name, Brennan Johnson. If he was your top goal scorer last season, I didn't
Yeah,
get I didn't get selling him and keeping what you have got already. But you make those decisions, you move on, and the expectations of Frank. It just to me when they signed Frank, I could just see Nuno all over again, and I just thought to myself, really, it's just a matter of time before he would get the sack. And where do we go with Tottenham is whatever they decide to do. That I don't know,
do
because
you feel
even
it's more that more needs to change than the manager for their sort of fortunes to turn around? Because we've seen, what is it, 4 or 5 managers, and they always end up in a similar place.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just a poorly. Is it a poorly run club? No, it's not, because you look at the infrastructure and everything in that respect of the football club, it's top of the line. But in terms of what they want to do on a football pitch, they don't behave like a top five place team. They don't behave like a team that's aspiring to try and challenge for the title. And if it wasn't for Harry Kane, they would be where they are right now, really.
Yeah, I suppose.
Mid table,
Yeah, I
maybe
don't think they're a
getting.
top 5 team. I think they've always had sort of an overinflated opinion of themselves because the media have put them as part of the big six,
Hmm,
more because of their infrastructure and their stadium than
yeah.
the actual footballing performances consistently. But they shouldn't really be a team that are looking at relegation, to be fair, because they're only 4 points off it now.
Yeah, no, but this is the thing, is the fact the kind of getting what they're asking for, because they want to be like the rest of the top actual like five teams. They want to be like them, and sometimes you just have to play your position in it. Like if you are going to get a Nuno, a manager of that pedigree, or I mean his philosophy and how he likes to play the game, you just have to let him do his thing and just let it happen and see what happens. Same thing with Frank. Just let it happen, see what happens. And with Frank, he didn't really have what I believe the fair rub of the green. Um, the squad was ravaged with injuries and whatnot. And you complain about Ange, and then you get like complete opposite. I get it, it's complete opposite, but just let it happen. Like see
Yeah,
where it takes you. Just give him an opportunity. But you just now Tottenham are behaving like Chelsea, but they don't have Chelsea money or Chelsea ambition to do what Chelsea do. You know what I mean? Sacking a manager, get a new manager, and he's not get another manager, but you're not going to do what Chelsea do in terms of buying the top caliber players, so the new manager comes in and can actually do something in terms of challenging for league titles, challenging for cup competitions. So with Tottenham, I just don't see much changing. And again, is it the board? Like it's now we have to give it time to see what happens, because it's not Levy there anymore. So who is it now? So if it's not Levy, whose fault is it now?
yeah. Yeah, who are they going to blame next?
I don't know.
Okay, so if you had to predict now that scoreline tomorrow, 4:30, what would you say?
I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a 2-1 Arsenal. Again, I don't. You say this 2-1, and then it ends up being like 4-2 or something like that. But 2-1 Arsenal, I'm thinking. I think it's going to be a tight affair. I think it's going to be cagey. I think Arsenal's going to be a little bit cautious. The fans are going to be wanting them to go for it, but I feel like just how the season's gone. And the thing is, this is the before Frank had gone, this would be the perfect game for them to just attack and go for it because Tottenham are just set up that way to absorb. But now we don't know what Tottenham you're going to get. So if you go for them, maybe they're going to be set up to withstand that and hit them on the counter. And now Tottenham might be suited for the counter game, and that's why they're going to be set up tomorrow. Because coming in as a new manager, that's what I would do. I would set Tottenham up as the counter attack and just look to exploit the space in behind. Obviously, it's going to be very hard with Gabriel and Saliba because they are very, very good and shown to be better than previous seasons on the counter or being anti-counter. But at the same time, what else? What other options did Tottenham really have? I don't know. They haven't shown me anything this season. So yeah, 2-1 tight KG affair. Don't know what to expect from Tottenham.
Yeah, no, fair play, fair play. I personally
What about
think
yourself?
I think it's going to be a score draw. To be honest,
Okay.
I can see it being a score draw.
But
Tottenham
like
coming
1-1.
out 1-1, maybe 2-2.
Okay.
I can see Tottenham coming out the blocks quick. New manager, stadium being a bit vibrant, and all of that. Fans being behind everybody, less of the negativity, and I think they'll go at least one goal up before Arsenal fully get back into the game. I think Arsenal are in must-win territory because if they don't win, they leave City next weekend. I believe City play first next weekend. They're either in a position to win and go level on points, and that is not something you want to let City do. So I think Arsenal are in must-win. But I think it's going to be a draw. I think the new manager bounce will help Tottenham. I think there's a little bit of negativity around Arsenal at the minute, and yeah, they've really got to turn it on. And I just don't believe in that squad or Arteta being able to handle the pressure. And I think the cracks are starting to appear. And I think again you're going to see him tomorrow. So that's why I'm going with a draw. If it was any other time in the season, if it was while Frank was still here, if it was before Christmas, I'd be in the Arsenal wing camp. But you add all of the running stuff into it. There's just something wrong with that team and the way they're set up as a whole, whether it's the coaching staff or the players. I just don't believe that they believe they can get over the line.
No, that sounds reasonable. It sounds plausible, especially with the way how their last few fixtures have gone. But I just feel like because their last fixtures have gone like that, like you said, it is a must-win game, and I feel Tottenham. I just can't. New manager bounce. Yeah, don't know what to expect. But I just don't see that coming from Tottenham. They just haven't shown me anything this season where I feel like their attack isn't enough. But again, at the same time, sometimes you don't have to. But again, defensively, are Tottenham resolute enough, especially at home?
I would have said no. The answer to that question would have been categorically no. I was there when we played them a few weeks back, and they were horrifically bad. It's the worst. That they had no ideas. You couldn't see what they were trying to do. There was no pattern to play. It was horrible. It was like watching a Newcastle team under Steve Bruce. I've actually felt bad for the players and the fans the way it was going. So, but now I feel like they're all going to be a bit more vibrant. They've had new ideas. They've had 10 days off. Yeah,
that 10 days off, that is probably the perfect time to actually do this. And 10 days to prep for this game for both teams. It's going to be harder to prep for Arsenal than it is for Tottenham to prep for this game.
Yeah, because Arsenal don't know what they're walking into. They don't even know what style of play Tottenham are going to play, what formation they're going to play. They know nothing. They're going in blind. Tottenham are coming off 10 days on the training pitch to set up for what Arsenal have been doing pretty much all season.
We've probably been able to have about 3 days just for defending set pieces.
Yeah.
Lord knows I would do something like that.
Oh yeah, 100% against Arsenal.
Mm.
You would do plenty of that. So it's going to be an interesting game. See how it goes. But then on that, so you reckon Tottenham lose? Do you reckon they get dragged into a relegation battle? Because it's getting very tight down there. I think they're on 29, Forest 27, West Ham 25, and they're in the last relegation spot.
Yeah, I mean, had Nottingham Forest not sacked Dash, I would say Tottenham are in serious trouble. Yeah. But I can see Nuno getting West Ham out, and I would have said if Dash was still there, I would have said Tottenham are in serious trouble. They're still in trouble. They're just not in serious trouble because Nottingham Forest is there as a buffer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to rely on someone else. You know, it is a problem. Changing the manager now at this point of the season, we don't know this guy. Is he a relegation specialist? You know, has he ever had that sort of experience in his career? We don't know. Premier League, you're better off getting Sam Allardyce in at this point of the season to the end of the season, and you just get a new man in. But I mean, those days aren't even here anymore. I wouldn't have necessarily got Sam Allardyce, but you just need someone that knows how to stave off relegation. And is Tudor this guy? You don't know.
Well, looking at the teams he's managed, I would say no, because he's been managed. He's only 47, yeah, and he's managed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 different clubs at 47.
That's a lot of teams.
Which is mental when you think about it. And there's no real sort of teams you'd look at to be relegation, like Hajduk Split, PAOK, Galatasaray, Udinese, Hajduk Split again, Hellas Verona, Marseille, Lazio, Juventus. Like, it doesn't scream a relegation specialist.
Yeah.
So they must be banking on this guy being pretty special at what he does just to get Tottenham playing football and then just ignoring the relegation aspect of
it. They must be. And this is the thing, is that it may go back down to the ownership, the hierarchy, because would Levy have made this sort of decision?
No chance. Whether he would have, maybe he would have sacked Frank, but there's absolutely no chance he would have appointed this guy.
No, you don't think?
Nah. When have Tottenham ever gone down this route of like, when they've been in these positions before, they've appointed an interim to the end of the season, they bring in someone that has basically no real top level resume of any sort. He's a caretaker. He must be. To have 12, 13 jobs over what must only be a 12 to 15 year managerial career, he must be a specialist caretaker. But he's a specialist caretaker of what look like clubs that are at the top of the table. Yeah.
And this is the thing is, but this is the thing as well, right? Do the Tottenham players see themselves in a relegation scrap?
Good question. Because if they don't, I would say they then fall into massive trouble.
I don't think the fan base see themselves in a relegation scrap.
They're starting to.
Yeah.
There was a lot around on the train, even there on the train back in the stadium when I was there the other week, and they were all talking that they knew they were in a relegation fight. If the players don't know, they're in even bigger trouble than we thought they were, because a team that doesn't know they're in a relegation scrap.
Yeah. Because if the players are just thinking it's all right, we'll get a new manager and he'll get us playing more progressive football, and then we'll just get back up the table. But you don't understand, like, when you're in the quicksand of a relegation battle, because like Leeds today getting a point against Aston Villa is a massive point.
Yeah. But all of these teams are set up to fight. They're fighting their way out of a relegation battle. And it looks like Tottenham are going to try and play their way out. Yeah. And I don't think that's going to work.
Nah. And the thing is, see, like Burnley were they were close to getting 3 points.
Hmm.
But they're just too far at the moment. I can't see them dragging. If they'd have been able to convert some more of their games that they've had, but yeah, they're just not been good enough.
Yeah,
But
Burnley just don't seem to have enough goals in them.
no, they don't. They're not a bad team, and even with Wolves, really, they're not a bad team in terms of watching them play. They just don't have enough. They don't have enough Premier League quality.
Yeah, Wolves is a little bit too little, too late for me. They basically writ off the first half of the season,
Yeah.
and now they're looking like a much more solid team. They don't
Mm.
really concede many goals, and they nick a goal here and there. It looks like they're going to pick up a decent amount of points before the end of the season, but they're not going to get anywhere near getting out of that. They're
No,
15
no,
points
no.
off West Ham. West Ham
Yeah.
are still in the relegation zone.
Yeah. Exactly.
They've
Exactly.
got no chance. They're basically gone.
Yeah.
Burnley, they're right on the edge. They're basically hanging on by
Oh, no,
like
no.
the skin of their
Burnley are
teeth.
gone. Burnley are gone as well. For Burnley to get out of their situation, everyone ahead of them has to drop form dramatically, and then pick up form
Hmm.
or just conversion of chances. That's just they're just gone. It's just West Ham. West Ham are going to save themselves. They've got too much quality compared to what's that? But yeah, between West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and Spurs, they're the team that's in the best form.
Yeah, I think quite comfortably in the best form as well. So if
Yeah,
you had to bank on it now, who's the third team that goes?
Nottingham Forest. But Palace could get dragged into this by the end of the season. It could be
Okay.
Palace. I don't think Fulham would go down. I don't see Brighton getting dragged into it.
Now Brighton got a good win today. They got a good win away at
Yeah,
Brentford, who had been flying high up until that point. So
yeah,
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 they've done all right. Fulham, I think Fulham are a little bit too far out. I would cut it off at Palace personally.
yeah. Palace. The thing is, because obviously there's all that bad feeling at Palace between Glasner, fans, the board. It's just a bit too toxic down there, and I can see them getting dragged into it.
Because what is it? It's 11 games, isn't it? So say you bank on West Ham getting 15 points from 11 games.
Mm,
That puts them on 40, bang on 40. I don't think they will get that. I think they'll end up on 36, 37, something like that. So you've kind of
mm,
got to, if they're getting up, if they say they're getting up to 40, you've got to imagine that Fulham and Brighton have got 6 points in them before the end of
yeah,
the season.
yeah.
So then it's just a case, have Palace got 8, have Leeds got 9, have Tottenham got 11. Like,
I think Leeds definitely are showing that they've got the points to stave off any sort of threat. Palace, Spurs, and Forest are all question marks for me. But I would say more Spurs than Forest.
no, fair play, fair play. I think it all leads into an interesting running, which is what everybody runs, rather than everything being cut and dry. Because this time last season, the relegation battle was pretty much done.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Everybody was looking at the top part. Well, even the title was pretty much done. Liverpool were clearing away, and everybody was like, yeah, it doesn't really matter from this point.
yeah.
So everybody was just fighting for middle spots. So it's good that the league is that loads of positions in the league are actually going down to near the end of the season. So it's not bad, to be fair.
Yeah, no, it will make it interesting. It'll definitely
Yeah.
make it interesting, especially it being Spurs down there. It's kind of like it's very unexpected for the modern age football. But I remember when I was younger in the 90s, and Spurs were flirting with relegation one or two times. Um, but it's just football has a funny way of going around in cycles, isn't it? So
Does,
will they
doesn't it?
stave it off? I would love to see Spurs in Championship.
It would
Oh,
be mental. Like
oh,
that's catastrophic for the financial
oh,
side of that football team. For the commercial at
yeah,
Tottenham, that's catastrophic.
yeah,
Really is.
it's catastrophic, but you'll survive. You'll survive.
They'll
And
survive 100%.
and the thing is, a bit of a learning, a bit of a lesson for the fan base and for everyone at Tottenham, because they've always been too, I think, too big for their boots,
Yeah.
and I feel like they've always like, oh, we should be winning trophies, but why should you be winning trophies? You're only Tottenham. Uh, you should be like anybody else that wins a trophy after a long period of time. You're not guaranteed to win trophies every season, every other season. And then when they did win it, I feel like I don't know. They just didn't make the right decisions, and they haven't made the right footballing decisions on the pitch for a long time. I think since
Poch went.
Yeah, even before Poch, that season before Poch went.
But I felt like what the whole club bought into the fact they got to the Champions League final, and they kind of thought that's where they belonged. And Poch had his first little blip, and they pulled the trigger. And since then, they've made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision.
Yeah, and they've just never actually given Harry Kane what he needed to actually win something. You know, you think about what the caliber of striker that he actually is. You compare him to other strikers in the Premier League, and you think about the type of teams they've had to go and win things. You got a striker like that for free. Go and build a team around him that wins things, and you'd win countless Premier League titles with a striker like Harry Kane. And you go and get defenders that are gonna defend, the midfielders that are gonna play the midfield role perfectly, and get wingers that are devastating. You'd have won a Champions League. You'd have won a league title. You just wasted Harry Kane's career. a £200 million striker that you wasted a whole career, and let him go to Bayern Munich to go and win something.
Yeah, mental really when you look at it like that. Very, very mental. I think that kind of wraps it up really, to be fair. We've covered most of what's going on in the league. No one else has rocked up by it, but it's still been a good chat. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, Sink. Anything you want to promote before we shoot off?
No, man, you know me. I'm just out here coaching, doing the whole grassroots thing. I'm not on the socials like you guys. I just like to come and have a discussion about footy.
Have a little chat now and again, and we always love your insight. That's why we always invite you onto these shows, man. So yeah, again, thanks for showing up, and like I say, it's been a good chat.
Likewise, man.
Yeah, people, as usual, we'll be back Monday 8:30 with the Parliament. This week we are into the 90s, so we're picking our Premier League 11 from the 90s. If we get through that in time, we are going to compare the four teams we've put together from the four Premier League decades we've been in so far, and decide who would be the winner of a little round robin tournament between them. So see you there at 8:30. Do all the usual stuff: like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and all of that. If you've watched,